It's really nice and good when you can host your own website and without depending on anybody else. And it really comes in different process and different procedures that can be used to host a particular website. There are various hosting services around, and at this time there's also been a couple of cloud services and VPS providers, some shared hosting providers. So just assuming you pick any of the services to host your own website. And when hosting a website, sometimes that I personally feel as a problem, that sometimes I need to access the server using a terminal, which becomes really difficult when using WHM and cPanel software. And that's the software that's really good and really very convenient to use when it comes to manage different services and just going to a graphical interface to manage everything, hardening and managing different kind of softwares. So there are many benefits of using WHM and cPanel, but today I'm not going to talk about WHM. But the problem that I personally face is that whenever I need to use a terminal, and there's some way that I made myself, I created for myself, that makes it much easier for me to use the terminal to connect to the server. To connect to a server, basically you will be needing a couple of essential things like the host IP address, the username that you're going to use to authenticate into the server, and the password, or maybe the SSH key. And the SSH, using that SSH key, that is much better way to authenticate into your server instead of using a plain password, because there's chances of your password getting compromised or maybe any brute force attack on your server. So I'm just going to come to the point directly without any ado, and just going to show you the way that I developed myself to ease my way to access the server for those stuff which are not very convenient to do using WHM. And for those tasks you will be needing the terminal access, like running a screen command or maybe just running anything on terminal, like installing any software, any module, or just any kind of command line interface integrated things. So yeah, there are various things that you can use the CLI for. Okay, this is my hosting service, and I'm just going to log in to the cPanel. The same you can do if you are on a VPS hosting and you have WHM installed. You have access to WHM. The thing is that it works exactly similarly with cPanel and WHM. So the core difference is with WHM you get access to the server as root, which is the toppest level access privilege on a server. But with cPanel you get access to the server with your particular cPanel username. So for my case, this is my username, and here I'm going to go to the section where it says SSH access. So I go there and I go to manage SSH keys, and there you can see I already have public key. And there are two ways: you can either generate a key or import a key. So the easiest way is to generate a new key. I'll be generating a key, and let's name it ID as a CLI. And key phrase, you have to give some strong password as a key phrase. So I'll be using it like okay. And the key size, I'm going to choose the highest one, 4096. That's all right. whichever I choose to create. Okay, so this is created, and this is the public key. The public key has been saved as .pub and the private key as CLI. This RD RSA underscore CLI. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is go back and going to need the private key only, not the public key. You can keep the public key as well if you want. That's completely up to you. So I could download the key, and let's say I download into here, and then you can also use PPK format. You can convert it into PPK by using the passphrase that you have provided, but I'm not going to need the PPK format because I'm on Mac and I'm going to use the PEM file. So here's another thing, this authorization status, and I'm going to show you how it works just in a bit. So here what I do, I go to my terminal, and there it is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a shell script. Alright, so let's use my username dot k.sh into vi. The first thing that I'm going to use as host is going to be my host name, which is basically the IP address of my server. So this is my shared IP address. I copy it, paste it, and then I use user, put my username, and then I don't need to specify the port or anything. If you need to specify the port, you can, but for SSH my default port is 22 and I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use a key file that's going to be an ID RSA CLI. This is the key. So the next thing I'm going to do is you have to remember the passphrase, or otherwise there's another way for you to copy that as well. Basically do this. So I'm just putting something random, key phrase, and the next thing I'm going to do is SSH I, then I'm going to use a key, I'm going to use a user @host, and if you need to specify the port or something, the key, and if you need to use a separate port, then you're going to put this. And now it's going to ask me for the key phrase. So basically what I'll do is echo key phrase, and with Mac I can do is pb copy. So that will copy the key phrase into my clipboard, which I can just simply paste and it will just connect. And yeah, that's almost it. And okay, now let's try. So what I'll do, I need to change the permission of this to 040, and then I'll do KSH. So now it's connecting. It's asking me for the password because the key, you remember that thing, that public key I was telling you about, that will come back to it, is asking me for password. It's not letting me authenticate using the private key, the SSH key that we have downloaded. So I'm going to cancel it here. I'm going back to it. So we go to SSH access again, manage SSH keys, and then gotta authorize this particular key. Okay, and then we click on authorize. Alright, we should be good to go now. Let's try it again. Bam. It's saying it's a bad permission. Alright. Okay. Load key. What did I do wrong? Yeah, things like that happen. Okay. S4. Looks like the password didn't change. That's 644, but I changed the password to 4. Oh, sorry. I need to change the password of this, the permission of this. Sorry. Alright, now it's good. I need to connect it again. And there it is. It's asking me to put the passphrase. So I could just paste that passphrase that was already copied from that SSH file, the shell script, or I could put the passphrase by hand, and there we go. We are connected to the server. There you see. You can see the process that is going on the server and everything. I'm on a shared server, of course. So that's it, guys. Just I wanted to show you a quick way, an alternative way to connect to your server, authenticate to your server using much easier way without having to remember or store somewhere your credentials, your details, the host IP, username, password, passphrase, and then just carry all those over whenever you're trying to connect to your server. It's just for personal use, not to be used. This is important, not to be used on a public computer, only for your private computer, which is handled only by you, because these details are really private, and exposing those details could destroy a lot of things with your server. So be very careful when you're working with your personal computer, with your personal project. Then definitely you can go for it, and that will save a lot of time for people like me who are like proclaimed lazy. So that's it, guys. Thank you. Hope it comes as helpful to some of you. Alright, guys, see you next time. Bye bye.